guys, this is Heather with Book Junkie, and today I'm going to be reviewing People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. Yeah, Emily Henry. And I'm not going to be doing a spoiler video about this book. There's not really many spoilers to give about this book. I will be doing another video answering the discussion questions at the end of this book, so stay tuned to that. It will contain spoilers, so don't watch that video unless you want to know what happens in this book. Anyway, I'm going to be starting this video about my rating, and I'm giving this book a 3.8 out of 5. I really never read any other book by Emily Henry. I don't know what kind of author she is, what kind of books that she typically writes, but this was a very lighthearted, easy read romance book. But I just thought a lot of the scenes in this book were kind of just dragged on or unnecessary, and I like my romance books, basically almost all of my books, just to get straight to the point, and I just don't want to be reading 200 pages about something I don't even care about. I felt like I was just reading this book just to get to the end, not because I couldn't put it down or I had to read another chapter to see what happens next. So, anyway, this book is about this girl named Poppy, and she is very extroverted, life of the party. She likes to go on trips, and she just brings the energy into the room. Then there is this guy named Alex, and he is the complete opposite. He is very introverted. He keeps to himself. He likes his life to go a specific way. And Alex and Poppy met in college, and they are best friends, and they decide to go on a summer trip together. And they do this every summer, and they don't have a lot of money for these trips, so they really have to budget on them. They go to crappy Airbnbs, they rent a car from someone they met on Facebook for $50 during the trip, but they make the most of their trips. They have a great time, and they have a lot of memories from this trip. And the whole book just kind of just goes back and forth between their past trips, which was about like 10 of them, to present day summer. And during the descriptions of these trips and like the chapters of them, I kind of felt like I was third wheeling on two best friends that have all of these inside jokes or you had to be there moments. And the author does explain what like the background is for these jokes, but it still just felt kind of boring to me, and I just didn't like that. Now, after their 10th or so trip, there something happens in one of their trips in Croatia, and they don't talk for about 2 years after that. The author doesn't come straight out and say what happened. You just gotta keep reading to find out what happens next. Anyway, present day Poppy is kind of at a funk at work. She's not really enjoying life like she used to, and she's really missing Alex. She's really missing Alex after 2 years of not talking, and she decides to send him a message and see if they want to go on a trip together. And they do, and Poppy is just trying to rekindle their friendship during this whole trip that they have. And again, the remainder of the book is just going from this present day trip to the past trips that they had 10 years ago, 9 years ago, 8 years ago, so on. You get the point. This book was a very easy, lighthearted read. So if you're in the mood for one of those books, I highly recommend reading this. There are, again, those parts that seem to drag on for no apparent reason. And this book is like 360 pages. Yeah, 360 pages. And I think it could have been a really better book if it was just crunched down to 200 pages. I felt like I really just wanted to know what happens to present day Poppy and Alex, and the only other past trip I cared about was the Croatia one, just because they were just building it up so much throughout the whole book. I will say though, there were parts in this book that I felt my heart breaking for either Alex or Poppy, and I did tear up in the end at one of the scenes. So there are really good parts of this book that make you feel for them, but it's just not constantly good. Those feelings were far and few in between. Well, If you enjoyed this review, please subscribe to my channel so you can see more. And I would love for you guys to write in the comments what other books you recommend for me to read. I will put it in my to be read jar, and I can even give you a shout out when I do read that book and review that book, but I will always give my honest review. So again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.